Hello guys, welcome to the first edition of the Common Sense Football Show. The football show that's going to give you news, analysis, breakdown, and also my views and opinions on football. I'm going to try and entertain you and also educate you along the way, so welcome to the show. Without further ado, let's get into today's show. We're going to cover tonight's match, 8 p.m, Manchester United versus Brentford, and we're also going to cover the weekend's games, the big game being Liverpool versus Arsenal. I am an Arsenal fan, an avid Arsenal fan, so I'm going to try my best not to slate Spurs and Chelsea too much and keep my views unbiased, keep my views fair and give you unbiased, fair analysis. So let's get into tonight's game, Manchester United versus Brentford. Brentford in good form, Manchester United in not so good form since their last game. They lost to Newcastle at St James's Park. Newcastle dominated them, was far the superior team. Since Manchester United's Carabao Cup game versus Newcastle, which they beat Newcastle at Wembley, their form has sort of dropped off in the Premier League. They're now sitting fifth, I believe, outside the top four, but they do have games in hand. So, if they win those games in hand, they're in a prime position to finish in the top four come the end of the season. They're without some key players. They're missing Eriksen from a long-term injury. They're missing Casemiro due to suspension. And so tonight's it's a must-win game for Manchester United in order to try and get some momentum back and try and keep up that chase to get in the top four, which is vital for clubs that size to get back into the Champions League so they can attract players and so that they can plan properly for next season. Brentford, on the other hand, they're doing quite well. I think they are. Let's have a look at their last couple of matches, how they got on. 3-3 with Brighton. I think they gave up their lead 3 times during that game, as I remember. They drew 1-1 to Leicester. They beat Southampton before that. So their form is a little bit indifferent. Losing to Everton before that. Beating Fulham. So, at the moment, I think they're sitting... Let's have a look where they're sitting in the league. I think they're sitting... Bear with me. They're sitting 9th in the league. So they're probably going to be fighting for those UEFA Conference places, which should be great for Brentford. Even finishing in the top half of the league will be great for Brentford. So it depends how motivated Brentford are going to be. Are they going to be happy with where they are? They're safe. They're in a good place. Or will they fight and try and get into Europe in those UEFA Conference places, or maybe even Europa League places? That's not too far off. So it sort of depends what Brentford turn up. I mean, if I'm a betting man, I'm betting on Manchester United because they're at home to have a bit too much for Brentford. But being without Casemiro and Eriksen and, a midfield of McTominay and Sabitzer, Sabitzer is a short-term signing. He came from Bayern Munich, I believe, on loan in January. So, he just provided a little bit of cover. He was Eriksen's replacement, but he's provided a little bit of cover in that midfield area. But I don't think that midfield, sort of has the quality of, an Eriksen and Casemiro. And Eriksen's an outstanding player, and Casemiro is amongst one of the best defensive midfielders in the world, won everything. So, they really missed those two, and they're a much better team with those two in it. But, that being said, I think that Manchester United at home will have, too much for Brentford. There's a lot of debate on if Weghorst should start. From my view on Weghorst is that he doesn't score enough goals. He works really hard. He's a big man. He's a target man. He sort of knits everything together with, the likes of Bruno, Rashford, Anthony or Sancho when they're running off him. behind him. So he sort of links everything together and sort of plays the system that Ten Hag wants to play. That's why Ten Hag keeps him in the team, sticks up for him. He doesn't score too many goals, but he works really hard, and you know, he fits the system Ten Hag wants to play at this precise moment in time. So, you know, that being said, I think Manchester United will win. But you never know. You know, Ivan Toney could turn up and, you know, have an Ivan Toney day and just, you know, shock the party. But Man United really don't want to lose this game. With Brentford, you know, if they lose this game, they don't really have much to lose. You know, they're safe. You know, if they're really ambitious and really want to get into those European places, then. But Manchester United, they have more on the line tonight. So let's see what's going to happen at 8 o'clock. And let's talk about the weekend's fixtures. Let's focus on Arsenal versus Liverpool at Anfield. That is a must-win game for Arsenal. Liverpool, they're not going to get in the top four. Liverpool are not going to get in the top four. They've been a little bit indifferent this season. Let's talk about Liverpool. Alisson's probably been their best player all season. Van Dijk looks tired. You know, Matip or Konate, sort of his partner in defence at centre half. Trent, he's not had the best season. Attacking wise, he's still brilliant, but defensively, he has been exposed a little bit this season. You know, in previous years, when Liverpool were at their pomp, they had, you know, players like Ronaldo, Henderson, Fabinho, hard-working athletes that could get around the pitch and really, you know, while Trent went up, you know, to give those crosses and passes and assists. One of those, mainly Henderson, would drop in on the right and look after Trent's defensive duties. But Liverpool midfield has, you know, gone down the toilet, to be honest, and you know, they really need to reinvigorate that midfield with about 2-3 players. They have some good young midfielders, but you know, you really need, if they want to come back again and try and challenge for the league, they really need to spend quite a substantial amount of money, or you know, in quite a few positions, but midfield predominantly. Jude Bellingham is the big one. Whether or not he's going to come to Liverpool, if they're not in the Champions League, or if he's going to go to another club like a Real Madrid or a City, you know, or an Arsenal, I don't know. But from my perspective, I think that Liverpool and Bellingham are a good fit. I think that would be the club that would help him develop and, you know, really fulfill his potential. But you have to see what he decides in the summer, or he might even decide to stay at Borussia Dortmund. You don't know. But, you know, Liverpool, they're not in good form. They got spanked by City on the weekend, 4-1 at the Etihad, and they drew 0-0 against Chelsea last night at Stamford Bridge. And, you know, Chelsea were quite good in all fairness, and Liverpool were quite poor. So, you know, we're going to see how that game pans out on Sunday. From Arsenal's perspective, since the loss to City, winning 7 games in a row in the Premier League, we're in really hot form. And, you know, the Saliba, I don't know if Saliba's going to be fit for that game on Sunday against Arsenal. I mean, I hope to God that Saliba is, but if not, you know, I'm not losing sleep too much. I think Holding will do a good job. He's proved that he can do a good job. He's been excellent since he's come in along with Gabriel. So, you know, I'm quite confident. I think we need a result. You know, for the confidence of the running. You know, if you beat Liverpool at Anfield, it's a hard thing to do. And if Arsenal manage to do that, that's going to give Arsenal a tremendous amount of confidence going into the final, you know, 8 games of the season. And I think Arsenal should go there, be confident, really take the game to Liverpool. Arsenal have a good defence. They have a better midfield than Liverpool. And they got a great attack, you know, with Saka, with Trossard, with Martinelli, with Gabriel. I think that Saka will play. I think that Gabriel Jesus will play. Who plays out of Trossard and Martinelli, I'm not sure. If I had to choose, the pace and the penetration of Martinelli on the left, or the guile and trickery and the intelligence of Trossard. I mean, since he's come in, the amount of assists, I think he's got 7 assists so far. Phenomenal since January. Who needs Mudryk? I mean, Trossard has been probably one of the signings of the season, definitely the signing of the January transfer window. So I think I would go with that. I would go with that. I mean, if Saliba's not fit, my team would be Ramsdale in goal, Ben White on the right, Gabriel in the middle, Zinchenko on the left, the centre half. Well, what's his name? I've got brain fog. What's his name? The centre half. How can I forget his name? I just said it. Holding. Yeah, Holding. Holding in the middle with Gabriel, who's done really well since he's come in, as I've said before. So Holding in the middle of Gabriel, and I'll have Odegaard, Thomas, Xhaka. That's been the main midfield of the season. And Xhaka, Gabriel Jesus, and Trossard, I would have. I mean, you can't really, Trossard's form's been, imperious since he's been in. So, I think, obviously I want Arsenal to win. I believe Arsenal can win. They've got the quality to win. What Liverpool team are going to turn up, I don't know. They've been spanked a couple of times at Anfield already. They probably don't want to get spanked again. But I believe we can win, and we have to take the game to Liverpool. We have to dominate the midfield, show that we have the better players and the more dominant midfield, and really, really dominate that game in midfield, and use our pace and ability in attack to win the game and stay solid. You still have to show Liverpool respect. They got a really good attack. Salah, Gakpo, Darwin Núñez, Jota, Diaz is back. So you have to show them respect, but I think they're really weak in midfield at the moment. So we have to take advantage of that and just try and get the 3 points. And that'll be a phenomenal statement, for Arsenal, and will put us in good stead for the remaining 8 games. Let's see who our rivals City have on the weekend. City, who are playing, they spanked Liverpool 4-1 on the weekend, and they have Southampton away 5:30 on a Saturday, the late kickoff. Southampton need to win. They're in a relegation battle. Between 12th and 20th, any one of those teams could go down. Any one of those 8 teams, 3 of them could go down. It's so tight down there at the bottom. So Southampton need to win. Whether or not, or at least get a point. They need to get a point. Whether or not they can, I don't know. I mean, they're probably going to park the bus. City are going to have most of the possession, and Southampton are probably going to try and park the bus and try and catch them on a break and just try and get out of there with a point, and if you can, grab a goal. I don't know if how Haaland is going to be fit, but, seeing what they did to, seeing what Manchester City did to Liverpool without Haaland, they're not really going to miss him. With De Bruyne, with Alvarez, Grealish on form, Mahrez. I don't know if Foden's going to be fit, but they have more than enough goals and quality to beat any team, even without Haaland. So obviously I want Southampton to beat them. I want that gap to increase, and for Arsenal to have a bigger cushion. But we're going to have to see what happens. I hope Southampton can do us a favour. I know we've got Ainsley, Maitland-Niles over there, so hopefully, he can do us a favour. And Southampton could do us a favour and try and at least, grab a point, or try and amazingly grab a win. I mean, that would be phenomenal. But, City, they seem to be getting into form now. Their form seems to be ominous. They're playing really well, City. I still think that they can drop points before now and the end of the season, but they're really finding their form now. How they played against Liverpool. I don't know if Liverpool were bad or City were amazing, or a little bit of both, but they were phenomenal. But Arsenal as well, we are phenomenal. So, let's see what happens this weekend. and it's going to be really exciting. Let's have a look at the Premier League table. Let's have a look at the Premier League table just to see how everything stands. You know, it's pretty much a 2-horse race for the title. For the top 4, it's between 3 teams: Newcastle, Spurs, and Manchester United. You know, Villa have done fantastic. I mean, Unai Emery, since he's come into Villa, they're 7th now. And they'll really fancy their chances. I mean, top 4 will be a bit of a stretch, but they'll really fancy their chances to get into the Europa League. And they might, knowing Emery and his record in that competition, they might actually win it. But yeah, you know, Brighton are doing phenomenal. Great run club. Brentford are doing phenomenal. Fulham are doing phenomenal. Chelsea are in absolute shambles. Graham Potter losing his job this week. What do I think of that? I would have liked to give him time. But the signs weren't there. There weren't a lot of us, you know, the results weren't there. There weren't a lot of positive. I mean, you know, they did play well. I mean, Chelsea were the sort of team, they played well up until, you know, the final third. And then it's like they didn't know what to do. Like, they didn't know how to, the final pass was bad or the finish was bad. But there were promising signs. I mean, listen, this Todd Bowley geezer, he seems like he doesn't have a clue what he's doing, but he's buying anyone, acting like his championship manager and hoping that someone can put this puzzle together. That's not how football works. You know, Mudryk, I think we dodged the bullet there. 80 million based on half a season. No, insanity. So we dodged the bullet there. João Felix is only there on loan. Enzo looks good. Kante looks to have made a difference, but they're a shambles. They're not going to get into the Champions League. I think that Jose Enrique is in London today, so I think he's the favourite along with Nagelsmann for that job. I think Jose Enrique will get the job, and that'll be good for Chelsea. You know, they acted quick, and they're trying to get a top draw manager, either Nagelsmann or Enrique. I think it'll be out of those 2. Spurs, you know, they're another mess. Conte spoke the truth. He got sacked for speaking the truth. The players are a joke. You know, they're not up to the level. And, you know, even the way the club does run, they're a joke. They don't win trophies. You know, what's their aims? You know, Harry Kane, good goal scorer, not a big game player, doesn't score in the big games. And if Harry Kane wants to, you know, get something out of his career, move to a big club, you know, either Manchester United, Newcastle, because they're in a much more superior position to Spurs, and they'll win something before Spurs, PSG or Bayern Munich. Just try and win something, mate. I mean, try and get some trophies in your cabinet. It's embarrassing. But yeah, they're an absolute mess. They got Mason and Antonio Conte's assistant, I don't know his name, you know, at the helm. You know, act like a big club. You know, you think you're a big club. Your fans think you're a big club. Act like a big club and go and sign a manager. Instead, you've got Mason and some guy I don't even know, Enrique's assistant, not Enrique, Antonio Conte's assistant as the gaffer and the assistant gaffer. Utter nonsense. Conte was right. He's got out of dodge, and he's gonna get a big job, and he's gonna land on his feet, and he's gonna be all right, and Spurs will continue being Spursy. So yeah. Let's fingers crossed for us Arsenal fans, fingers crossed for the weekend. I will have a couple more videos this week analysing the games and also viewing upcoming games and also giving my views on any football news that is dropping. Peace out, guys. See you soon.